Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome, Paul, Eric.
Welcome.
Gentlemen.
Thank you.
I think we're going to get right into it today. It's Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Yes.
When you're listening to this, it's probably not Father's Day, but it was Father's Day recently.
It would be amazing if it's Father's Day while you're listening.
Yeah, that would be props to me for getting this thing edited same day.
On Father's Day as well.
On Father's Day, yeah.
Honey, I'll be up in the office for like 3 hours. Pardon me.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
So, since it's Father's Day, it seems like a good idea to talk about some famous father-son duos that have participated in Major League Baseball over the past 150 years or whatever it is.
Exactly.
How long has it been around? When did it start?
80 something, right?
Yeah.
Eric.
Long fucking time.
Eric, this is where you pull out those weird numbers.
Come on, Eric.
Okay, sorry.
1903.
1903.
Okay.
Well, Major League Baseball was formed in 1903. The National League and American League, National League was 1876. AL was 1901.
Okay, so we'll call it 120 years, and then plus or minus 20 years.
Yeah, very good.
Quick math.
Yeah. So, Paul, you found a list, some pretty cool lists, actually.
Yeah.
First one is from MLB's site, the greatest father-son duos in MLB history.
Yes. According to WAR, which is wins above replacement, which is still, man, I tell you what, this is one of those statistics that's like, it's fucking bizarre is what it is, how they come up with this. Like the formula for position players, the number of runs above average a player is worth in his batting, base running, and fielding, plus the adjustment for position, plus the adjustment for league, plus the number of runs provided. What the fuck? Seriously, who thought of this? There you go. There's a quick little rant.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Fucking nerds.
Wins up. Yes, there you go. Exactly. Couldn't believe it. But yes, here. So, according to the top 10, we'll run down a couple here. But the big ones up top, everybody's going to be familiar with. Number 10, Cecil and Prince Fielder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great
Prince
picture of Prince Fielder right there.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like he was meant to do this and meant to be. It's so unfortunate his career fizzled out pretty quick.
What happened to Prince? I remember him being when he was with the Rangers, he was the shit.
Well, yeah.
But what happened? I don't remember the story behind that.
Eric?
I'm looking. I
I thought you guys knew off the top of your heads.
He went from the Rangers to somebody else, signed that big contract, and then that's when it just all went to shit, right? Or did that happen when he went to the Rangers?
I think it happened when he went to the Rangers because I remember that was a big thing. Like for a while, the Rangers were they had Josh
Hamilton,
Cocaine Hamilton. And
yes.
Prince Fielder was another big deal because he had come from Detroit, I think.
He was in Detroit. He did play there for a little while, correct? Obviously, because his dad did, yeah.
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 Okay. On August 10th, 2016, Fielder announced that he would be unable to continue his playing career after undergoing a second neck surgery in 3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. Neck, back.
That'll do
it. That'll do it, definitely.
He wasn't the most athletic of players, so...
Neither was his dad.
No. Well, his dad looks a little more athletic than Prince was, I think.
That's true.
Anyway, yeah, that's a great one. Cecil and Prince.
Yep. Number 9, Dizzy and Steve Trout. Kind of a little bit before our times.
Yeah, a little bit. No relation to Mike Trout, I assume.
Apparently not, because
that's a bummer.
They would have been all over announcing that for sure. Maybe some cousins or uncles or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
The number 8, the Alomars, Sandy and Roberto Alomar, but he also had Sandy Alomar Jr. as well, so 2 kids.
Yeah.
Number 7, Gus and Buddy Bell. And of course, Buddy Bell ended up having another couple kids, I think, that played, right?
Oh, I don't know.
David Bell and somebody else, perhaps. Okay, we'll fact check that one later.
Probably
David
not
Bell
Albert
and
Bell.
Mike Bell.
Boom. Probably not Albert Bell. Probably not. Number 6, Jose Cruz and Jose Cruz Jr., who was a Mariner for a hot second. And again, this is all based on wins above replacement. So these guys, Jose Cruz Sr., 54.4, Cruz Jr., 19.5. So that's kind of where we're at, number 6.
Okay, real quick on this. I obviously don't like the Astros, but those uniforms are pretty fucking sweet.
Well, it's like those and those Padres uniforms from back in the day. I mean, just
Orange
like
and brown.
shit brown.
Late 70s, orange and browns. Yeah, bring them back.
Hell
Oh,
yeah,
man.
dude. Hell
And
yeah.
that guy's hair is like, it's like poofing out of the helmet. Oh, it's fucking classic.
So good.
Bring that back. That's what we need to see in baseball.
That needs to be like a City Connect uniform or
Yeah.
every Friday
Grow your
night.
hair out.
Oh, and the afro. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 5, the Stottlemyers, Mel and Todd. Mel, he's a Yankee legend. Todd. Number 4, the Boones, Ray and Bob Boone. And obviously, Bob went on to have Aaron and Brett Boone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a dynasty right
Yeah.
there of Yankees managers / players.
Yep. Very much so. Number 3, Felipe and Moises Alou. But I think there was another Alou in there too.
Yeah.
Matty Alou.
And Jesus.
And Jesus. There's a whole lot of Alous.
Yeah.
Cool. Their wins above replacement, 42 and 39. So,
Pretty close.
good numbers.
Sure.
Number 2, my fave, the Griffey boys, Kenny and Kenny. Ken Sr., Ken Jr.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Griffey boys. Did they both play for
Yes.
the Reds and the Mariners?
No, just the
It was
Mariners.
just okay.
Yeah, Mariners kind of brought in Griffey Sr. way end of his career. I think he was just there a couple years and then maybe went back to the Reds before like a coaching stint and did all that.
So you were around when they were playing together.
Oh, dude. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I remember this was like, what was it?
Why
like,
are you laughing, Eric? Why are you laughing at my question?
Yeah, what's funny, Eric?
Because me and Paul are the old ones. You're talking like it's ancient history.
Yeah, it is. That was decades ago.
Yes, wins above replacement for those guys. Senior 34 and junior 83, which is pretty crushing. But this
That's
is
pretty good.
This is ridiculous. Number 1, clearly Bobby and Barry Bonds. And Bobby Bonds, 57.
Oh, wow.
Pretty awesome. Barry
Yeah.
Bonds, 162.8 to be exact.
How is his WAR so much higher than everyone else's?
See, this is where that stat is so goddamn confusing, and I can't figure it out. Apparently,
Okay.
anybody else that played right field or left field or whatever he did was shit compared to him.
Well, it
It's
probably
also
had
going to
something
be
to do
all
with
the walks and home runs. Though.
Yeah, that's
Tons.
what I was.
His on base percentage was like
Yeah.
amazing because everybody was afraid of him
Yeah.
for sure.
I remember getting to watch Barry Bonds live one time. This was when I was like 18, and I was living in California at the time, and I went to San Francisco for the day. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to go to, at the time it was like PNC, not PNC Park, it was like Pac Bell Park.
Back Bell.
And this was the year that Barry Bonds hit those, it was his 70 home run year or whatever it was. And so I was so excited to get to see Barry Bonds play and possibly hit a home run. Motherfucker struck out 3 times and didn't do shit.
Well,
One time, and then like the next game, I saw he hit like 3 home runs.
of course.
Of course.
Of course he did.
Thanks, Barry Bonds.
You ruined his California, San Francisco experience, buddy.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy though, but there you go.
Yeah, and then you had sent another list that had basically like every father-son
Yes.
duo, and there's a ton of them. There's 257 of them to be
Yeah,
exact,
that's nuts.
throughout
And
the
it-
course of
It's
time.
crazy.
Yeah. And there's
There's-
also, really quick, here's
Yeah.
like kind of a bonus one.
Yeah.
Grandfather, grandson, Carl Yastrzemski and Mike
Yastrzemski,
Yastrzemski. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Also, Tony
Yeah.
Gwynn, him and his son, Tony Gwynn Jr. was a dude. But, I mean, nobody lives up to Tony Gwynn Sr. Nobody.
Well, and there's also Tom Gordon and Dee Gordon, who I didn't know.
Dee Gordon? Yeah.
Flash Gordon.
Yep.
Does Dee go by Flash?
I don't think so.
No, he should.
He probably should, but I mean, his dad's probably like, don't you dare think about
Yeah,
it.
don't you dare.
It's mine. Pete Rose?
There's
Jr.?
a ton of names on this list.
Yeah.
Some that I had no idea. Apparently, Pete Rose had a son named Pete Rose.
If you go to the bottom of this list, Dale Young had a son, Dale Young.
Yeah.
Eric Young had a son, Eric Young.
Young.
Yeah. Bobby
wonder
Witt Jr. I didn't realize Bobby Witt Jr. was
Yeah.
a son of a player.
Yeah. He's a son of a player. Yeah. Pete Rose, I had no idea. I wonder if he doesn't actually have a son, he just tried to enter the league as Pete Rose's son.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yes. Hello, children. I don't gamble at all. But yeah, apparently his son only played for 1 year for the Cincinnati Reds.
Your boy Bruce Bochy had a kid in the majors for a hot minute.
Stu Peterson and Jock Peterson? No idea.
Wow, didn't.
There was one more on here. There's some good names. Just names in general, not the players. But
Mike
the
Cameron.
names.
I wonder if that's the Mike Cameron from Mariners fame there. He replaced Griffey. He's a pretty good center fielder. Daz Cameron was his son, apparently.
Yeah. Do you guys remember talking about Dale Barra in the Pittsburgh drug trials? How he was a part of that whole cocaine scandal, buying drugs from the Pirate Parrot.
Love it.
That will never not be a
course,
good story.
Never.
Terry Francona and his father, Tito Francona.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How they're
John
not even.
Farrell and Luke Farrell.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Delino DeShields had a father named Delino DeShields.
Mark Leiter had a son named Mark Leiter.
Real original guys.
Yeah. But they don't say junior on there, so I'm wondering if they just called them their own name.
Are there any juniors on that list?
Yeah, there's like
There are.
Oh, a bunch
Vladdy
of them.
Guerrero Jr.
Okay, yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr., Lou Krause
Yeah,
Jr.
there's a lot. Yeah, that is weird.
I'm just amazed at how many. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You know, your father grows up playing baseball in majors. Like, that's.
You definitely get a second look when you're coming up.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
thank you.
Raul Mondesi.
I was just reading that.
Adalberto Mondesi.
Yeah, I was just
He
reading
used
that.
to go by Raul Mondesi Jr., but then his dad, Raul, he got caught doing something. He was like a criminal. Like, I don't know what he got caught doing. I forget what it is at this point. But he changed his name like right after that happened. Like his dad's in jail now. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah,
Don't need to be associated with that.
yeah.
Corruption
Is he
charges.
playing for the Red Sox, Eric, or is he injured? Eric.
I was looking. I can only look up one fact.
Oh, I didn't know if you. I thought you were just like browsing Instagram or something.
No, yeah, that's what I did. Raul Mondesi was sentenced on corruption charges in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, corruption.
Okay,
That's
now
what it was.
what fact do I need to check?
No, I was just asking. In general, is Adalberto playing for the Red Sox because he's on your team, or he was on your team? That means he's not playing.
Probably not.
Not current. He's not on the Red Sox.
I think he's injured, which he's basically been injured his whole life.
I guess he kind of is on the Red Sox somehow. Let's see.
Yeah,
Stats.
sure is.
Well, let's see. Yeah, he's been on the DL with an ACL tear.
Oh God,
You know,
he's
2 months after the Red Sox got him from the Royals.
Dude,
Oh,
that was the whole story with him at the Royals. He would play 2 months at a time, and then
Yeah.
Sit out
Bye-bye.
6 months.
yeah,
Yeah.
not good. Best name on this list is Randy St. Clair. I don't know why that. It sounds like a porn star, right? Randy St. Clair.
Totally.
Okay, thank you. I'm not the only one. Thank you, Paul.
Totally did.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool little thing.
Yeah.
Glad we did it on Father's Day.
First father-son duo to hit back-to-back home runs in a game, or probably potentially
here we go.
the only.
Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey Jr.
Yes. Good guess, Nick. Good guess.
Yeah. There was one more that I didn't mention. I don't know if I saw it on this list or not. But Hal McRae and Brian McRae, who both played for the Royals. Hal McRae was also once a coach for the Royals. And the only reason I mentioned them, have you guys seen the video of Hal McRae going fucking crazy after a game? He's like talking to reporters.
Yes. What
Eric,
was that
have you
all
seen
about?
this?
I might have.
I'm going to play it for you guys so you guys can watch it.
I didn't want to get myself into a situation where all I had to go after him was all right, and our lefts were swinging the bats well, so I wanted my left-handed hitters to hit.
Did you consider Brett for Miller with the bases loaded in the second?
No, don't ask me all these stupid-ass questions. No.
Wow.
Oh,
I'm done. Nope, I'm done. Get your shit out of here. Wow.
Find the I hit Brett for Miller. Miller started the game. He's playing against left-handed pitchers. Brett is not playing against left-handed pitchers. Find the guy back for Miller. You think I'm a damn fool?
Oh, yeah. Throw the phone.
Ask questions every night.
Oh, and a 360.
All his dumbass questions.
Dumbass questions. Is he wearing just underwear or something? Is he wearing
Yeah. Oh, this dude has blood on his face.
Not taking no shit off. You guys are not taking no shit off the players. I'm sick and tired. I'm fed up with everything. No shit from you guys. No shit from you players. And they can do any thing they want to do. I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit. Now, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
If we can find the unedited audio of that, we have a new intro.
Oh, my God.
To the podcast.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it,
Put
boys.
that in your fucking pipe and smoke it. That is so... I mean, like this day and age, that would never fly. Like he'd be gone in a heartbeat. But just watching that shit is hilarious to me.
Amazing.
That's a meltdown.
I wonder if the guy bleeding took the phone to the face, or
I think he did, yeah. He just like casually walks away. He's got blood
When you say
dripping down
phone,
his face.
It's not an iPhone.
No,
It's a desktop, metal.
so good. So good.
Well, that's a good way to end our Father's Day special here on Wasted Pitch.
Good father's note.
Yeah, with a epic meltdown from Hal McRae.
Happy Father's Day, wastoids.
Ooh, there it is.
There it is. See what I did?
It's stuck. It's stuck. That's it.
Nice.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about besides Father's Day stuff before we get into Roogie's bump?
No.
What were you saying about the kids, Eric? Talk about the kids, for kids.
Yeah, Eric, you wanted to add something about some Red Sox father-son duos?
This is a story from last year. There's a little summer league in New England called the Futures Collegiate Baseball League. Basically, it's for high school kids that are going into college to get a little practice in of NCAA rules, even though they use wood bats, but they still follow all the other NCAA rules. And the MLB scouts go and all that. But last year, the Brockton Rocks, one of the teams in this league, had the sons of Pedro Martinez, Manny Ramirez, and David Ortiz on it.
And from my
on one
understanding,
team.
there was a couple of other sons on that same team as well. I think there was like two other ones, maybe from Toronto, Do you know the whole? Do you got the whole roster for that team, or? Because I remember seeing a picture and there was like 5 of them.
I'm looking. I'm not.
I feel like the whole
roster.
Blue Jays team is basically
All of those
Yeah, pretty
sons of
much.
famous baseball players.
right?
In the league there, let's see. Well, of course, Jose Canseco played in the league for one summer just so they could sell tickets. Let's see.
If I was his son, I'd be changing my name.
Jaden Sheffield, son of Gary Sheffield, was
There's
also
one.
on the team.
Yep.
That's all I'm seeing in terms of names.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
That's still
But yeah.
a lot. I mean, that's
Yeah.
4 right there, which is pretty
Yeah.
crazy. But 3 of them were Red Sox players, is what you're getting
Yeah.
at.
Like peak Red Sox too. Nonetheless,
Yeah.
like these guys are Red Sox legends now.
Indeed.
This was last year, you said?
Last summer, yeah.
Okay.
And then now they have gone off to college, correct?
Correct. But they did not all go to the same college, I'm assuming.
Some of them, I think, went to like junior college too to like kind of prep for getting drafted in a
possible.
year or two. I don't think, if I remember correctly, it wasn't like any big Division I schools or anything like that. Or is that even a thing?
No.
Like Division I college baseball? Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
I know
sure.
it's a thing, but it's like it seems like players kind of get drafted and just get into a system without really
Yeah.
doing.
I'll tell you, in New England, like if you form a league, people will show up. Like you can have any kind of. It doesn't matter the talent level.
Yeah. I
You
think it
got
just
the Cape
depends.
Cod League. You got the this between high school and college league. Like
Yeah.
people just love going to baseball games in the Northeast.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's probably personal preference as well. Like some players, you got to think about your chances of getting into the major leagues are probably fairly slim, at least. And so going to college kind of gives you that little fallback of, hey, I got a degree.
Right.
Let's give this baseball thing a try.
Well, it's NBA. Like they want you to go to like 1 year of college now, don't they? Before you can
Yeah.
like get drafted. So, but they don't enforce anything remotely close to like that in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, money talks,
Fucking A.
the Royals had a prime example of this kid, I don't know, probably 10 years ago or something like that. He got drafted by the Royals right out of high school. And he was a big prospect. Like his name was Bubba Starling. And he was like a hometown kid. He was like a 3-sport athlete, just he was a beast. He was great. But then he got into the farm system, never really produced, couldn't really do much. Brought him up for a couple big league games, but he just never made it. And after like 10 years, he just retired from baseball altogether. So it's kind of that
I bet
chance you're taking.
that story happens a whole lot more than the guy that gets called up and is actually successful. So
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys, it's time for another Wasted Pitch movie review.
Boy.
This week, we all sat down and we watched the movie Roogie's Bump. I had never heard of this movie until about a week ago. I found it on a list somewhere. And the tagline for this one reads, "A young boy who loves baseball develops a strange bump on his arm. The bump has such an effect on his pitching arm that he soon finds himself playing for a Major League Baseball team." If this tag sounds familiar, that's because this movie was the inspiration for the 90s classic, Rookie of the Year.
Classic in quotes.
Well, hey, I mean, that was one of my favorites growing up as a kid. That's a little too... I know you guys were adults in the 90s, so...
yeah, we were done with that kid shit.
Roogie's Bump came out in 1954, so we have ourselves another black and white movie to enjoy. The runtime is only 1 hour and 11 minutes, so it was...
Thank God.
Yeah, it was a pretty
Hallelujah.
quick watch. I tried to find some like box office info on this, but I'm not sure that it even exists. Like I wanted to see how much, it cost to make the movie or how much it made. There's not much info about this movie at all online. So I imagine it didn't do very well, which is not surprising after watching this one. Spoiler alert, everybody, the movie is not very good.
But be prepared for a great review because we're gonna make you want to watch it here in a second. Trust us.
I think it's still worth talking about because it had its moments, and we're here to give you the highlights.
Yes.
There aren't really any recognizable actors or actresses in this one. I don't know if you guys noticed anybody that you recognized. No. Our main character, Remington Roogie Rigsby, is played by a kid named Robert Marriott. And this movie was his only acting credit on IMDb.
Yep.
So it seems like this movie basically killed his acting career. Other characters of interest in this movie are Roogie's grandma, or Grams, as she's so affectionately known. She's played by Olive Blakeney, who was born in 1894.
Had some years on her.
Yeah. We have Mrs. Rigsby, Roogie's mom, played by Ruth Warwick. And she is actually most famous for her role as Emily Monroe Norton Kane in the movie Citizen Kane.
Ah.
So she's got some credentials.
Some cred.
Sure.
Yep.
Some cred.
Yep.
Robert F. Simon plays Doug Boxey, who is the manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And in a small but important role, we have William Harrigan playing the role of Red O'Malley.
Red O'Malley, former MLB player and pitcher?
Yes, a former baseball player for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yes.
There's also some cameos from real Dodgers players.
Roy Campanella was the one, really. It wasn't so much a cameo.
Yeah.
He had a part in that whole movie.
He had a speaking part, and so did Carl Erskine. He had a small speaking part as well.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool special effects, too.
Ah, yes. Classic.
Okay, let's jump into the movie.
So good.
Our story begins with the narrator, who later I found out he is also the stadium announcer or the broadcast announcer during the game.
And his name in the movie, like his character name, Danny Dewwinkle. Danny Dewwinkle. Yes. Okay. Sorry. That's just a good name.
That's good. I didn't even pick that up. So he's telling us a story about something strange that happened in the fabulous borough of Brooklyn, New York. Those are his words, not mine. I knew this movie was going to be bad from the get-go because, after the little animated intro, the camera work was so shoddy. Like they showed like overhead shots of New York and the Brooklyn Bridge, and it was like so shaky. It was like somebody attached a camera to a kite or something and just said, "Yeah, fuck it, we got the shot." So after the narrator gives his little synopsis of what Brooklyn is like in 1954, we get to meet Roogie Rigsby, and we learn that he just recently moved there with his mom, aunt, and Grams from somewhere in Ohio, I think. Yeah. And Roogie is probably, 12 maybe? He's a young kid, 10, 12.
Yeah.
Something in that range, 11. So Roogie's trying to fit in with the neighborhood kids. He wants to play baseball with them, but they are not having it.
Once again, kids are jerks.
Indeed, especially in Brooklyn in the 1950s, apparently.
Jeez. Mean. So mean.
They talk like gangsters, too.
Yeah. So let's take a look.
Hi, fellas. You hear anything? Oh, I smell something. Yeah, somebody must have kicked a rock and the egg crawled out.
Jerks. Jerks.
Today? What do you know? It ain't an ant, it's a shrimp and it talks. Well, get a load of that.
And it talks, say. It's a
Get
jerk.
a load of that.
Well, it's little Remington. My name's Roogie. Sure it is. Boogie Woogie Roogie.
Whoa.
The hit from the sticks. They hear baseball out where you come from? Sure. I told you I pitched on the school team. Was it a girls' school, Remington?
Damn, dude. See?
Cut it out, Benji. How about playing with you fellas? Oh, you want to play with us, huh? Gee, sure, Andy. All right, Remington. We're choosing up sides for a nice game.
He looks like the... Pause it real quick, Nick.
Okay.
That kid, the bully on the right, looks like the kid from A Christmas Story. He's got the red.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Man, okay. Maybe that's why I don't like him so much. Anyways,
You guys, let's get going down to the park to practice for today's game with the Bay Ridge Buffaloes. They ruined this last time. 55-2. So this time we got a minor
again, 55-2 in baseball?
How about letting me catch?
55-2.
You still here?
That's why you gotta murderize them.
You.
Yeah. So, oh man, the accents these little fuckers have are great. We gotta mortarize them. So obviously Roogie is not fitting in. He's getting bullied by these little jackass kids that are sitting on the steps in Brooklyn. Nobody wants to, they don't want him around. And after that little scene, he kind of sadly walks back to his apartment that he lives in. And we get to meet Grams for the first time. Mm-hmm. And Grams is doing her classic 1950s womanly duty of sewing some clothes. So Roogie, she notices that Roogie comes in and goes straight into his room to comfort him. I'm not sure why the director did this, but they made this actress talk in an Irish accent.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to figure that out too. Is this like, is she an immigrant? What was going on right there? And it was kind of going in and out of the Irish accent.
Well, and I thought it sounded super fake the first time I heard it. So I looked up this actress, and sure enough, she was born and raised in Kentucky.
There you go.
So I don't know why.
So,
yeah.
Is it implied? Because, Brooklyn in the, 40s and 50s, Irish and Italian immigrants.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Are we supposed to know there's like hostility between these groups? That like this group of kids are Italian and he's Irish and that's why they're not letting him in?
No idea. Maybe that's like like a unspoken kind of thing that would have been known back then. But for us, I guess it's kind of lost in translation because it's just a weird fake Irish accent that she has.
Yeah.
It was unsettling at first.
Yeah, for sure. So Roogie is really down because he wants to play baseball and get better, but he isn't getting the chance to play. Well, Grams tells him that it will pass. She tries to comfort him by saying, even the greatest baseball players in the world were once little kids. And there's this really weird moment in this scene where Grams starts to talk about her past a little bit. Man, I think Grams may have been a little bit of a partier back in the day.
Little groupie.
Let's take a look at this scene here.
Once, even Ty Cobb and Joe DiMaggio and Babe Ruth, and even Red O'Malley.
Oh, yes. Especially Red O'Malley. He was one of the greatest pitchers that ever drove a batter wild. Fine figure of a man he was, too. A soft word for the ladies. And a fine, warm heart with lots of room in it for little children.
What?
Jeepers.
And my Lucky Charms.
And my
Lucky Charms.
Yes, I knew him. Oh, but that was long ago. Before I married your grandfather.
See?
You think a kid like me could be like Red O'Malley?
Oh, in time, darling, in time.
All right. So that's what kind of sets it up for me. Grams, I think her and Grams, or Red O'Malley and Grams had a little bit of a thing going on before Grandpa came into the
But
scene.
it's like, does it sort of play into, didn't they just move to New York? So where, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of history. Maybe Red O'Malley played for the St. Louis fucking Cardinals or something back in the day or something. I don't know. Like,
again, lost in translation. We have no idea.
Yeah.
They don't tell us. So after that, Grams goes and gets Roogie a signed baseball card of Red O'Malley that she keeps. And his reaction is to say, "Holy Jumpin Jeepers." Again, 50s movies and Jumpin Jeepers, Jumpin Jupiter.
You do a great kid's impression voice, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Holy Jumpin Jeepers.
There it is.
So he gets the card. This puts Roogie in a much better mood. And the scene ends with Grams kind of like looking longingly into the distance, thinking about those days with Red O'Malley. Red O'Malley.
And his soft, warm touch.
Yeah. A heart for young children or whatever it was. It was weird. It was just fucking weird.
Yeah. But you got to love Grams. I mean, come on.
She's great.
Yeah.
Of course. And don't take my cynicism as me, disliking Grams or any of the characters in the movie. Although the movie is bad. So Roogie decides to go to the park where the other kids are playing baseball.
Because he's pumped now. Grandma pumped him up. Yeah, he's feeling it.
Yeah, and he tells the main jackass bully kid, Andy, that he'll make a deal with him. He says if Andy lets him play in the game, he'll give him the autographed Red O'Malley card. Andy is like, fuck yeah, you stupid kid. And then he proceeds to have everyone gather around and picks the players for the team.
Yeah.
Plot twist, he doesn't pick Roogie to play.
Oh, man. But he already has the card, so...
He's got the card.
Yeah.
And Roogie's like, hey, man, what the fuck? I just gave you a picture of my grandma's old boyfriend so you'd let me play.
And you promise, but you're taking away your promise here.
Yeah, if you're not going to let me play, give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roogie and Andy start pulling on the card.
Ooh.
Sure enough, fucking gets ripped in half.
Oh, man.
Now we got ourselves a good old-fashioned fight, boys.
Yep.
So all the kids gather around. They're like hooting and hollering, screaming, fight, fight, fight. Eventually, Roogie gets thrown to the ground. He's like covered in grass. All the other kids leave. Yeah. He picks up his glove and walks away sad. Again.
And his ripped up card.
Yep. And his ripped up card. But then an apparition appears.
Oh. You gotta love the wonderful harmonica playing acting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there he is, the apparition.
Yes.
Who could this be? Some old guy in a really old baseball uniform.
Like the super heavy wool uniforms from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Roogie slowly walks up. Great solo. Oh.
Hello, Roogie.
Hello, sir.
It's too bad they wouldn't let you play in that ball game. I was watching you field that grounder. You did very well. You have the making of a fine ball player, I'd say.
Gee, thanks. But golly, sir, you must have awfully good eyes to tell from here.
Oh, that I have. You might say I can see things that most humans can't.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Excuse me, mister, but how come you call me Roogie?
That's easy, because you don't like to be called Remington.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Right? Creeping.
I can understand that, because I never liked my first name either. How would you like to go through life with the front handle of Aloysius?
Golly, that's worse than Remington.
How's your grandmother?
Gee willikins. You
What the?
too?
See?
Oh, indeed I do, for quite a while. Nora was great.
Oh, Nora.
Oh.
So that's Grams.
Mother's a remarkable woman, Roogie. She's a fine lady. And if it hadn't been for an unfortunate circumstance, but that was a long time ago.
Okay, what was the unfortunate circumstance?
Yes, I know.
wonder?
What a
They never
cliffhanger
go
right
into
there.
that.
No. Yeah, that would have been nice to know.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like during that whole exchange, not once does Red look Roogie in the eyes. He's always like looking off in the distance when he's talking to him. It's such a weird, like it's like he's reading off of a cue card that's to the side of Roogie, which could be. I mean, but maybe
well
it's
could have been.
Very much so.
Pulling the old, what the hell's his name?
I don't know.
That's a good one, Eric.
Got-
That was a good one.
Marlon Brando.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah.
Marlon Brando would have people wear cue cards like on their shirt
What? I had no
because
idea.
he would never remember his, because he was always on painkillers and drinking,
Oh.
and
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
they'd have to have cue cards all around the set.
But yet somehow he was known as like the greatest
best-
actor ever.
yeah.
The greatest actor of all time.
Yeah.
What a world. So yeah, we officially have ourselves a ghost in the form of Graham's old beau, Red O'Malley. At one point during the conversation, Red asks Roogie to show him his pitching stance. So Roogie's like, yeah, sure. Shows him his pitching stance, shows him a throw, and then Red asks to check out his muscle. And
Yes.
He gives his arm a big squeeze.
Stranger danger.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah.
And he says something to the effect of, "Oh, I have a good idea that it'll grow." Because apparently he has a way of knowing things that'll happen. The scene ends. We get one more harmonica solo from Red, and then he just disappears into thin air. Bye-bye, Mr. O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
Roogie starts to head home, and he's walking, and he's on a street in Brooklyn. He says, "Gee, Robbie, there seems to be some sort of bump growing on my arm." I forgot to mention, Roogie has a dog named Robbie that follows him everywhere.
Who is the best actor in the movie?
He's a great actor. Probably. Yeah. So he notices this bump on his arm. And by the way, not once in the movie do we see an actual bump on Roogie's arm.
No.
There's nothing there.
Or is anyone concerned that he has a
giant lump?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That he now has a tumor.
Right.
Breaking
so many things
with
wrong
this
with this
knife
movie.
and fork, obviously, and buildings and things like that. But yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
It's just a kid.
So Roogie decides out of nowhere that he's going to try and test his pitching in the middle of the street in Brooklyn. So he winds up, throws as hard as he can, and he launches this fucking cannon. And this thing gets thrown so hard that it crashes through a brick wall. It's definitely not real. It is animated. So it's an animated ball going through a wall in Brooklyn, and it explodes. There's a big black mark on the wall. There's cops immediately there.
Yeah.
People in the street are rushing to do it. It reminds me of this time. This just made me think of this when I was a kid. The way that black mark on the wall looked. When I was a kid, do you guys remember those poppers? The little fireworks that you could get they would just pop when you throw them on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, sometimes they would come in this little pouch. They were all together. Mm-hmm. Well, you could throw that whole thing. And I did that once when I was a kid. I was a little jackass kid, and I decided to throw it, and it hit my neighbor's car. My neighbor had a white sedan or something like that.
Oh boy!
I threw it right at the car, and these fuckers exploded, and it was made this huge black mark on my neighbor's car, and I'm running away, and that's exactly what Roogie did. Roogie started to run away because he was shit. Yeah. So it appears that this invisible bump that Roogie has given him a superpower. And after throwing the bomb into the wall, he goes and tests it out even more. And he goes to, I think it's the Hudson River. He goes down by the Brooklyn Bridge, and he's I'm going to throw this baseball as far as I can. Well, he launches this baseball from Brooklyn over into Manhattan, over the river, and it hits this huge smokestack, and the smokestack explodes.
The top half of it explodes and falls off.
Explodes.
Yeah.
We're not there is so much property damage.
Oh yeah.
And this kid is just destroying shit. That would wreak havoc.
You would think.
So Roogie makes it home after destroying a bunch of property without any consequences. And we finally get to meet Mrs. Rigsby and Aunt Kate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys noticed this. I noticed it last night when I was watching. There's one point where Roogie walks into the apartment, and he goes to the fridge, and he's like, "Okay, Robbie, it's time for dinner." And he pulls out this can of kennel dog food, but the way that he pulls it out and then turns it so the label is facing forward, which is obvious product placement for.
And it was already open too.
Yeah,
it was totally already open.
Yeah. Here's your dinner, kennel dog food. So they're sitting down for dinner, and his mom mentions that she signed him up for this 3-week camp out in the country somewhere. And Roogie is pissed. He doesn't want to go because of his newfound strength of throwing a baseball 600 miles. And we get to see another example of how strong Roogie's arm has become. While he's cutting his roast beef, his knife cuts right through the plate. We're going to check out this scene.
Oh, this is classic right here.
Those are comparable strengths.
Right? Whoa.
Roogie! Roogie, what on earth is the matter with you? I will not have temper at the table.
Gee,
How is...
I didn't mean to, Mom. It just slipped.
Now, don't make it worse by pretending that you can break a plate without
Yeah,
meaning
don't
to.
bullshit me, Ruby.
Yeah.
Phil, now, the boy was nervous.
Then he'll have to learn to control himself. Young man, I think you'd better go to your room.
Dang. Mom
'Cause
freaked
when I
out
get
kind of quick
nervous, I
there.
cut through a plate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Mom's pissed.
Yeah, that's
All
really
right, come
quick.
on, Robbie. Let's go to bed. All right. So, great scene right there. I love that they just had a broken plate and pretended that he just cut through it.
Yeah, just a temper tantrum. You know.
Just a temper tantrum.
That's all it
Settle down,
was.
Roogie.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Rigsby eventually goes and apologizes to Roogie. And while she's doing so, this is when she notices the bump on his arm. But he just kind of brushes it off as, you know, whatever. It's just a little something. I got it while I was playing or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
He then decides to write a letter to Doug Boxey, manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, to try to convince him to let him play for the Dodgers because, you know, he explains that he's got this thing on his arm and he's able to pitch so well now. He's able to throw a ball really fast. Tells him this, you know, fantastical story in a letter. And he's doing this because he doesn't want to go to camp. So he's trying to get this letter to Boxey so he can skip going to camp. So Boxey receives the letter and he reads it to the whole team. And this is where we get to see Roy Campanella and Carl Erskine for the first time. You know what's funny about this letter is that Roogie basically confesses to like blowing up the smokestack and blowing a hole in the wall. Like if I was a reasonable adult, I'd be like, wait a minute, this kid just fucking destroyed a bunch of shit, and he's telling me that he did this.
You know, you would hear that in the news about like,
what? A smokestack just blew up randomly?
Yeah. And now you know
so
who.
if I was Boxey, I'd be like, hey, cops, I got this kid. His name's Roogie Rigsby.
Yep.
And he just confessed that he did it. But that's a different movie, I guess. So Boxey decides to send Roogie a couple of tickets to a game at Ebbets Field, which is the stadium where the Brooklyn Dodgers played. So Roogie gets the tickets in the mail, and he ends up taking Grams to the game. So this is where we get to see some actual like baseball footage, which is pretty cool. That's probably one of the coolest parts about the movie.
Agreed.
Is that they show like real exterior footage of Ebbets Field, and then they show real in-game footage of the Brooklyn Dodgers playing. Not only do we have the likes of Campanella and Erskine playing, we also get to see Jackie Robinson.
I was totally looking like, where's number 42? Where's the whole time when you said that? I was like, oh, sweet. So that was
Duke
cool.
Snyder was on the team. I think we probably don't get to see him, but I think I looked up the roster and I think Tommy Lasorda was on that team at the time as well.
Very cool.
So pretty cool. Like that's definitely the coolest moment in the movie is getting to see all of the actual in-game footage. While they're at the game, somebody hits a foul ball. I don't know who hit the foul ball. It was one of the Dodgers players, I think. Lo and behold, Roogie catches the foul ball. And Grams decides to tell him this.
Now's your chance to pitch to Campanella. Go on, lad.
This wind up.
Yeah, it's great. Whoa.
Hello, boss.
Of course. Hey, boss.
Yeah.
Of course.
So what you guys can't see in this clip is that Roogie threw this pitch from the upper deck, and it flies through the air, and there's like a animated like fire trail or smoke trail. Yeah, it looks like a comet streaking through the air. It goes into Roy Campanella's glove and knocks him over. He rolls back into the dugout and lands next to Boxey.
Definitely not a somersault in reverse.
No, not at all. So, this is obviously like nobody expected to see this. The crowd is like, "What the heck?
What the?"
And Boxey sees this, and he asks the usher at the game to go find out who threw the ball. And the usher goes and grabs Roogie and takes him to the dugout.
Was it common for ushers to be on the field at that time?
Probably not.
The usher just comes right over.
Yeah. See, wasn't he up in the stands, but then all of a sudden he's down on the field? Is that how that worked out? He was up on the upper level?
Yeah, there's definitely some gaps in there because the ball gets hit way up into the stands.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. And then, there's just no fluidity to how this story is put together.
Sweet editing.
Yeah. So Boxy gets the usher to bring Roogie back to the dugout. And Boxy meets him, asks him to wait on the bench with the other players. Pretty normal, random kid from the crowd comes and gets to hang out with the players.
Of course.
He says, wait until after the game. And this is where Roogie gets to meet Carl Erskine. Erskine has a small speaking part, and he was like, that's quite a pitch you threw there, kid. Something to that effect. So the game ends.
Not nearly as good as your 14-year-old boy accent, just a heads up.
Well, I'm working on it.
Okay.
So after the game, Boxy has Roogie pitch to him, and it does the same shit that it did to Campanella. It just goes fucking flying through the air. Boxy falls down to the ground. He's like, whoa. One of the guys from the front office, I don't remember what his name was in this movie, but his job was a special expectations manager. And he saw Roogie in action and says that the owner wants to sign him up right away. So no other team will do the same thing, right? They want Roogie to be a Brooklyn Dodger in some form or fashion. So Roogie, Grams, Boxy, and this guy, they all go back to the apartment to meet with his mom to try and convince her to let them sign Roogie. But they really just want to sign him more as an attraction, right? He's like a circus freak to them almost. Not for Boxy, though. Boxy isn't hot on the idea of signing him. It's like an 11-year-old kid. What the fuck's wrong with you people? Why are we doing this? Yeah. Also, he destroyed a bunch of property. He should be, in court right now.
Juvenile delinquent.
Yeah. But according to this guy, he's a gold mine. Boxy isn't hot on the idea since he's just a kid, but he promises Mrs. Rigsby that he'll look after Roogie. And eventually, the special expectations manager, we'll call him the SEM for today. The SEM eventually convinces her to sign this contract. So after some time, Roogie goes to Ebbets Field to work out with the team and throw some pitches. Throws a pitch, the first one that he throws, he destroys a piece of the dugout with a wild pitch. Again, property destruction. And so Boxy's like, maybe you should start by throwing underhand to see if that works a little bit better. Because he's pretty wild when he's throwing overhand.
It's that wind-up, man. He's got to chill on that wind-up.
Yeah. Apparently the underhand worked because the team eventually decides to pitch him in an exhibition game. Mostly they decide to pitch him because it'll bring in a lot of money and bring butts in the seats, and this is all part of the SEM's vision of bringing in a ton of money based off of Roogie. Mm-hmm. Game day arrives, and the Dodgers aren't doing well. It's an exhibition game, not so big of a deal. But they decide to bring Roogie in to pitch. Here we go, underhand.
Strike. I was standing right here. There was no ball. You swung at it, didn't you? Sure, I swung. There was nothing to swing at. The whole thing's a trick. There wasn't any ball. But what's this? That butter,
man? It's so fast they couldn't even see it.
Come on, play ball. Strike him out, Roogie.
I said it's a strike and it's a strike. Play ball.
Yeah.
And here's the best one.
What the heck?
No, he's all right here.
I tell you, it was not a strike. You swung at it, didn't you? No, I swung in self-defense. I saw something coming at it.
It's a strike! A strike!
First he says he don't see anything. Then
Gotta love Grams.
He sees something. Now he admits he saw the ball. Then what is the kid a ball? The ball went over the plate. The kid just happened to be attached to it. Like what both of them did now. That's simple enough, isn't it? The ball went over the plate. So let's play ball.
Get him, Boxy. So for listeners can't see this, but Roogie didn't let go of the ball on that second pitch that he threw, and he went flying through the air.
Attached to the ball. Still threw a strike, though.
Absolutely.
They call it a strike.
Yeah.
You know, rules are rules here,
That's
guys.
right. Yeah. He swung.
He did. Did he swing?
self-defense.
I don't think he swung when Roogie was coming toward him. That would be very malicious if he was trying to swing at that.
Stupid kid.
Yeah, stupid kid. Strike me out. So Roogie strikes the batter out. And I don't think we actually saw him strike him out. Everybody was like, strike him out. You can do it. And then all of a sudden the screen cuts to black. But now he's a star. And guess what, guys?
What?
It's montage time.
Yes.
So we got the montage. We got the spinning newspaper. Why? What is with the spinning newspaper? Why is that the go-to montage for? I think it's been in every single movie that we've watched. Has it not?
Well, it's like got the big headline, but they spin it so you can't read the headline. You got to like build up to it. Spin, 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 spin. Headline! Oh my God! News!
Yeah, but when did we decide that that's going to be a forever montage?
Man, back in the day, they decided. Obviously, they were like,
yeah, apparently,
fucking good one. Let's all use it.
So we got the newspapers. Roogie's doing press conferences. He's on the cover of Time magazine. And then he has to do this radio ad. And I don't know why it was done this way, but the radio announcer, the guy who's doing the radio ad, is super fucking creepy. And I got this clip. I want you guys to... It creeped me out when I watched it.
Every morning.
Good afternoon, friends. This is Danny DeWinkle, your
Jesus.
crunchy reporter once again. Today, I am bringing to your screens a very special guest, Roogie Rigsby.
Roogie Rigsby. Like, why is that so...
It's like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he was the Danny DeWinkle, and it wasn't
Danny
that
DeWinkle,
not the announcer or the
Yeah.
narrator guy. Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You were just sold on Punchy Crunchy, so you were
apparently, dude.
so excited about Danny DeWinkle.
I know my breakfast every day coming up.
Yeah. So Danny DeWinkle kind of looks like John Wayne Gacy. And
definitely.
Not far off.
He's just a fucking weirdo. So I just had to include that because it creeped me out. So he does the radio ads. He's busy doing all this stuff. Also, during this time, the neighborhood kids who bullied him, all those little jackass kids, they're all super friendly with him now because he's a star. Mm-hmm. And they want him to play baseball with them. And, you know, he's got something that they want. They're all at his apartment one time, like waiting for him there. They get like his autograph and shit. And it's clear by this point that the SEM, the Special Expectations Manager, only wants to use Roogie as a moneymaker because he's got him signed up to do like a peanut butter ad, a quiz show, and
some more talk shows
other other bullshit. But Mrs. Rigsby is not having it. And there's this weird scene where she's talking with him, the SEM, and all of a sudden, like, Boxy storms in because he saw these ads on TV, and he's, like, fucking pissed. He starts yelling at the SEM. He, like, kicks his ass out of the apartment.
Yes.
And says he's nothing to do with Roogie anymore. And then he starts yelling at Mrs. Rigsby for allowing all of this shit to happen to her kid. But like the weird thing, she's not mad at Boxy at all. Like he's yelling at her, and she's just like smiling the whole time.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, he's like yelling, and it's like she was attracted to like Boxy yelling at her.
It's weird.
Yeah. And she's and like he gets done yelling, and she starts saying how much she likes baseball now. And then she grabs onto the lapel of his jacket and then just offers him a cup of tea. Would you like to stay for a cup of tea? Another weird scene. There's like two weird scenes in a row that I found quite odd. So quite some time passes. In fact, it's like near the end of the season, right? From the time he pitches in the exhibition game to now, like 5 minutes of the movie have gone by, basically.
Chasing the pennant.
The Dodgers
deep in the pennant race.
Vying for the pennant. And this is without Roogie pitching in any of the games. He's basically just their spokesperson. The owner of the team is trying to convince Boxy to pitch him because they have some injuries on the team and Roogie could help them secure the pennant. Well, Boxy fights it and basically puts in his resignation because he's fighting for the kid, right?
Another great scene, because, you want to see my contract? Let me get it from my jacket right here. My contract. It's like, wait,
you can
what?
keep this contract.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
You son of a bitch. Yeah, so he basically puts in his resignation, hands him this contract. He's fighting for this kid, but if they convince him in some way, he's like, "Fine, I'll pitch Roogie, but you can keep the contract. I'm not coming back as manager next year." So puts in his tentative resignation. Well, we get to this big game, and this is basically the deciding game for the pennant. And it's not going so well. And it's coming down to the last couple of innings. So the crowd is they're calling for Roogie, right? They're like, Roogie, Roogie. Boxy gives in and decides to put him in. Fucking crowd goes wild. And they show actual real crowd shots of Brooklyn Dodgers crowds. It was kind of weird because they put the crowd noise in weird spots. A lot of times when somebody would get a hit or something big would happen in the game, it was it was just
a
crowd
sudden on and off.
Yeah, it was hilariously edited,
faded in, or
But 1954. So it's up to Roogie to save the day. He's on the mound. He winds up, throws a strike right down the middle. Winds up again. And he's still doing his underhand. But this time, guys, it's a ball.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
But go ahead.
Roogie notices something is wrong with his arm. And he realizes that the bump on his arm is starting to go away. Shit. So he continues to try and throw, but it's just super slow, not in the strike zone. Throws another ball.
So before he started throwing the balls, wasn't there you heard the harmonica, Red O'Malley's harmonica off in the distance?
We did, yeah.
So it's wait a minute, an ominous harmonica. We think that means Red's nearby or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Red's here with us.
Yes.
I think they did that a couple times throughout the movie. I think there was a scene where Boxy was in the dugout or in the locker room or something like that, and we just kind of hear the harmonica. So the apparition of Red O'Malley is always with them. So it's not going well for Roogie either. Boxy comes out to the mound to see what's going on, offers to take him out, but Roogie says he doesn't want to let the team down. Continues to pitch.
Give me one more chance.
Yeah, come on, I can do it. I don't want to let the team down.
Yes.
So he continues to pitch, ends up walking the batter. Uh-oh. Well, Boxy pulls him. And this is where sadness sets in again for Roogie. Lots of highs and lows here for Roogie.
Emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Roogie's moping around the locker room by himself. And then...
But this is during the bottom of the 8th inning. The game is still going on.
Game is still going on.
Yes.
Yeah, the game is not over. Roogie's moping around in the locker room by himself, and then this happens.
I let him down. I let him down.
Great acting.
Oh.
It's Red O'Malley.
Oh, Roogie.
Mr. O'Malley. I didn't see you there.
Well, that's the truth. I wasn't here a minute ago.
Oh, thanks, old man.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have O'Malley. He's back. He's in the locker room. He shows up. And he basically explains to Roogie that he shouldn't worry. He didn't let the team down. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
But his intentions originally, he explains his original intention on what he meant to do with the bump as well.
So we can play that part too.
I've been looking for you, Roogie. I wanted to apologize.
Yeah.
Apologize? Gosh, Mr. O'Malley, I let the team down. Just when they were depending on me, too. Now we'll lose the game and the pennant.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that, Roogie. It wasn't your fault. You see, unfortunately, I exceeded my authority.
What
Sorry,
authority?
I don't think I understand.
Well, I'll try to explain. It isn't easy, but, you see, being only human, that is, not being as bright as I might be, I didn't think ahead. I didn't realize all the things that would happen when I arranged for that bump of yours. You see, all I thought was how fine it'd be for a young lad like you that loved the old game to show all his little friends, and especially Benji, that he could really pitch. But things have changed since I played ball. But I failed to think of all the things that went with it.
Yeah.
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 Heavy stuff.
So the moral of the story is, when you're a ghost, don't give special powers to kids.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
That's
Yes.
yeah.
I'm glad you came away with that, Eric.
Yeah, me too. Very good.
And after that little conversation, Roogie's upset because the Dodgers are not going to win the pennant. But O'Malley says to keep the faith. They can still win it. They're only
There's
down
time.
by they're only down by
time.
3 runs. There's still time. It's the bottom of the 9th. We get one more harmonica solo. And then Roogie heads back out to the dugout to be with the rest of the team. And he's feeling better now. O'Malley he kind of gave him this little invigorating speech. He's good to go. Well, guess what, guys?
What?
The fucking Dodgers did it.
No way.
They end up coming back,
Holy cow.
winning the game,
Yes.
and ultimately securing the pennant.
Man,
The crowd
alive.
goes wild again.
Yep.
It's like quick clapping, you know what I mean? Because it's like a weird speed.
Yep.
After the game, Boxy and Roogie go to speak with the family in the stands. This motherfucker shows up again.
This motherfucker.
See you tomorrow, huh? Yeah, boy. Mrs. Brigsby, here's a new
This guy.
document I want your signature on. Now, wait a minute, Boxy. This is a new contract for Roogie even you won't object to. As mascot for the Dodgers.
Mascot.
I'm surprised I didn't say ball boy.
Yeah.
Well, this calls for a celebration.
Ooh.
Would you be interested
Oh,
in
look
having
at
a cup
this.
of tea?
Yeah. Would you be
Yeah.
interested in having a cup of tea?
Drink some of my tea, Boxy.
All right. So Roogie is now the mascot for the Dodgers. I'm a little unsure about that, but all is
This
well.
scene. Sorry.
All is well.
Yeah.
Roogie got to pitch in the majors for a little bit. He got to destroy a bunch of property with 0 consequences.
Yep.
It seems like that's like the theme of a lot of these baseball movies, is that they get away with a bunch of shit and they do a lot of cool shit
Yep.
without any consequences.
Exploit whatever you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you're a ball player, you can do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Also, Mrs. Rigsby is going to have a date with Doug Boxy.
Why don't you come into my Boxy, Mr. Boxy? Sorry. I mean,
No,
come
no,
on.
it's good.
I was going to say it, Eric.
Yeah,
you knew
yeah.
it. You knew it.
Oh, dear Lord.
That was good. So the final scene of the movie shows us all the kids, all the bullied kids or the bully kids. And there's an old man playing some football with them at a park, and Roogie is there. It's like near the base of the Brooklyn Bridge, right where he threw that baseball. Roogie gets this football tossed to him, and he decides to kick it. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to punt this thing. Well, guess what?
What
He kicks
the
that fucking
shit?
ball so hard, it goes flying over the bridge and probably ends up destroying something else.
Yep.
But apparently he's got a fucking,
Yeah, a
golden
bump
leg now.
A bump on his leg now. Suddenly,
Yeah.
Where was the scene where the guy touched his leg and he's got
Why
this?
is that guy?
bump?
Yeah. Why is Red O'Malley touching your leg?
Dude?
Maybe
Yeah.
there's a
And
different
was there-
moral to this story.
Weird ending. Weird.
Yeah.
Was
ending.
there a plan for a sequel?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he kicks the ball, and then the very last scene, the old man that was playing with him turns around, and holy shit, it's Red O'Malley.
He's back.
But for some stupid reason, he's dressed as a priest with a hat on.
Yes. What? Is it?
And movie over. That's it. That was the end of the movie.
I'm telling you, they're setting it up for a sequel.
Yeah, dude.
It was the weirdest fucking ending.
Yeah.
I would say for all the listeners out there who sat through that review, thank you. We appreciate it. Number one.
Absolutely.
Second, I would highly recommend not watching this movie.
Definitely.
Just listen to the review. That's all you need.
Yeah, we just gave you the movie. We got you.
Yeah, that was it. It was terrible. No offense to the fine actors and actresses and people who put in a lot of work on this movie. It was bad. It was bad. Brutal.
It had a bad premise from the get-go.
Yeah.
Everything that followed was going to be bad.
Yeah, they ran with it too.
Yeah. Rookie of the Year was way better. Just saying.
I don't remember watching Rookie of the Year. I'm going to be honest here.
It's a little different. He breaks his arm, and then he has super strength, but he's not going around throwing balls,
demolishing personal property.
He's not going around getting his leg touched by some creepy old timer.
No, he's not.
Okay, good.
So that was Roogie's Bump. I had a good time reviewing it. I enjoy watching movies that are really bad and making fun of them and reviewing them. Excuse me.
It's good times.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Yep. Eric, you got an opinion on the movie at all? What were you thinking?
It stunk.
You said the best actor in the movie was the dog.
He was good. The kid holding him back during the fight, that was some sweet acting.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that was great.
Sweet acting. But then the little love connection between Boxy and the kid's mom, that first scene, and then you can kind of oh no, she invited him for tea once again. And it's just oh boy, what's going on here?
I also kind of got the feeling, I don't know, they kind of hinted at maybe that Red O'Malley was actually the grandfather. There was a scene where it was I don't know. It was.
But he says it could have been.
Yeah.
What could have been.
Oh, what could have been.
Right. If he was the grandfather, then
I don't know. There was one line in there that I remember them saying, and I was like, wait a minute. Grams.
Slut.
Oh, Eric.
Good stuff.
Very good, Eric.
Well, that'll do it for this episode.
Yep. Good stuff.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Next week,
Happy Father's Day.
We will probably not do another movie review, but we'll do something. We'll have something fun for you guys.
Some fun and games
coming up. Yeah. We're coming up on the month of July soon, which means we're going to have Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes. Trade deadline's coming up at the end of July. So
All-Star break coming up.
All-Star. Oh, in Seattle.
Coming up in Seattle.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a week-long event up here. All the things that they're talking about doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably going to rain the whole time.
Probably.
It's going to be hilarious.
We have a roof that we can close if we want.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next week.